What a baller. What a
Absolute
baller.
baller.
Imagine doing that and being able to bang Shakira.
It's the dream. It's the dream.
He's living an absolute dream.
Welcome to Secure the Bag. My name is Jackson. I'm joined here by Anthony and my mate Ollie as a special guest. Say hello, Ollie, to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be part of this podcast. Been looking forward to it all week, and I've been told I got to mention I'm a Chelsea supporter, which is true, but apparently we're shit. So
Facts.
yeah, but
Nothing uncontroversial. Nothing uncontroversial about that. Don't worry.
I had nothing wrong with that statement there.
Yeah. But today,
thank you for joining us, mate.
Yeah, we're not talking about Chelsea today. We're not talking about Chelsea today, though. We're not talking about Manchester United today or even West Ham today. It's all about PSG and the godly transfer window that they've had. So, lads, we got to get into this team. So, we look at their signings they've got. They've got Messi on a free, Donnarumma on a free, Sergio Ramos on a free, Hakimi for 70 million, and Gini Wijnaldum on a free. Boys, if you had to point to one of these signings that you think transforms this team, which one is it? I mean, for me, it's actually Sergio Ramos. A leader like that in the back line wins you trophies. Like he's incredible.
They lost a lot of that experience that they needed. That every team kind of needs at the back when they lost Thiago Silva, because that Thiago Silva and Marquinhos partnership was deadly. It was deadly.
Yeah.
Nobody was getting past them, and I think you lose Thiago Silva, you bring in Sergio Ramos. It's an improvement, right? But there's no doubt about that. It's an improvement over Thiago Silva. I think Sergio Ramos is a great shout. For me, though, I think look, it's really easy to say Messi. But I think Gigi Donnarumma on a free, best young keeper in world football, arguably. Just one came off winning the Euros. 22. Feels like we've been hearing about him for 15 years now. But yeah. That's it for me. I can't see anything better than that.
Well, I think he made his debut for AC Milan when he was about 4 years old. So he has actually been around for a while. But he's, I think for me, it's hard to say anyone other than Messi. I think Messi obviously transforms the team as probably the best player of all time. But without a doubt, they probably had they're playing, well, they have been playing career mode. I mean, they've been, Messi to PSG. Even if someone told you the players they brought in that would happen 12 months ago, you wouldn't believe it. And I think although Donnarumma, is signing for the future, he's a world-class keeper as it is. And the whole point of bringing in Messi 4 years ago, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about PSG's Champions League chances later on, but the whole point of bringing these players is to get them across the line, because the Champions League for PSG, that was why they brought in Neymar, and that's arguably been a failure. But with these players now, for them not to win the Champions League this season, even with the competition there is, for them not to win it, I think would be, just a failure. So.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that, because before this summer transfer, I always felt they were like a pretender. The bookies would always rate them to win it, but I always felt they were a pretender, because you take into account, I remember all those years ago, a couple of years ago, watching Real Madrid smashing PSG 3-1. In the round of 16 in the Champions League. And I know every season it's been like, they're the big boy, but they don't perform, they don't impress, they don't play beautiful football. Then they got Neymar and things didn't change. Like, they've had great performances, some, but others have been like downright poor. They beat Barcelona last season, but then Man City looked like they just dominated them.
Well, you mentioned that, and it's really telling, not even just in the Champions League, it's kind of telling in the league. They didn't win the league. They didn't even win the league last season, and that's unbelievable. When you think about how much money they've invested into that squad and how much depth they have, and they arguably have top three, undoubtedly top three best squads in Europe, in the world.
World.
It's like, I don't. I struggle to see how they're not winning Champions Leagues. But again, I think Messi is there for that fact. I mean, he needed to leave Barca. I didn't think it was going to happen, but he needed to go somewhere in PSG. Man City would never. But yeah, I think Messi's a great shout at being their best.
But I think it comes down to you can have all these star players in your squad, but unless Pochettino finds a way to make them gel and to play together effectively, they're still gonna fall short, I think. So he's got to find a way. I mean, the front three. I mean, you watch Messi when he played at Barcelona. Often, especially later in his Barcelona days, he was playing pretty deep. Like he would drop into midfield and stuff. So he's gonna have to find a way for them to, because Mbappe at the moment is basically playing through the middle for PSG as a striker. So they got to find a way to kind of get that front three to be firing on all cylinders. And I mean, for me, maybe it's playing Messi on the right, and you got to remember they brought in Hakimi as well, and although he's a right back, he's basically a right winger. He scores goals and assists. So he can easily, overlap on the right wing if Messi drops into the midfield. So it'll be interesting to see how they play.
Well, so from what I know, last season Poch was a little experimental. So he played with a 4-2-3-1, and other games he played with a 4-3-3. But I think the argument now is that he has 3 world-class centre-backs. Why not play all of them? So he might go to a 3 at the back with Ramos, Kimpembe, and Marquinhos.
And then
with
Hakimi,
Hakimi as a wing back, so he can go even further forward.
I don't see PSG being able to. They've got too much talent up top and in the midfield to be able to play 3-back, I think.
Well, no, they'll still have a front 3, but they'll have one less midfielder.
Yeah,
so what they'll be doing is going out wide.
Yeah, PSG don't play very wide though.
But I think that's the change.
Cut in. I think Poch he's in a good position, right? Because he's got strikers galore, and if you look at his days with Tottenham, where Son was traditionally on the wing and he played him centrally as well a lot, when Kane was out and having managed those kinds of players, and with Lucas being their best winger, they're kind of in a similar situation. Much better situation, but similar situation at Tottenham, where Poch is going to have to. I mean, I think his best formation is 4-3-3 for PSG. But he's able to. It's going to be a fluid front three. So the relation to Tottenham is you've got Son and Kane. Kane being the Messi kind of player, being able to drop back a lot, and then Son being able to slot in. I think it's going to be the same with Mbappe or Neymar being able to slot into that top role. So it's a really similar situation. I think he's going to be able to manage it well if he used that right formation. I don't think 3 at the back's the right formation. I'm not sure. I think because you've got Verratti, you've got Ander Herrera that can come on, Julian Draxler,
Wijnaldum
now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Wijnaldum replaces them, and what's going to happen there is Wijnaldum's so versatile. He can either drop deep and protect the back line, or he can go forward and link up the players up front like he did with Salah, Firmino, and Mane at Liverpool. He doesn't get represented by stats. He's just a quality all-round player that just makes whatever you want him to do. Yeah, box to box. Whatever you want him to do, he does.
They could definitely do a similar system to like Tuchel's Chelsea, where they have the 2 in midfield, and basically, like you're saying, Jackson, Wijnaldum will play a role maybe similar to what Kovacic does. And then they've got Marco Verratti, who's very similar to Jorginho. So he's dropping deep and dictating play and basically pulling the strings of the entire team. I mean, like Anthony says, it might not work at PSG. It's been working at Chelsea under Tuchel, and that's why like N'Golo Conte doesn't even get in the team, because a lot of the time, because Kovacic and Jorginho, that pair in the middle, and I would say like their midfield is like probably the weakest part. It's still quality, but it's the weakest department they have compared to forwards and the defense.
But yeah, you look at that. That's an interesting correlation between PSG and Chelsea. I think you look at their other midfielders. You've got Idrissa Gana Gueye, which is that Kante I mean, he's getting older. Of course, but he's still he's a really key part of that midfield. And Paredes, don't forget. So I'm not sure how three at the back works, but I think tactically, if they were to lose a midfielder, three at the back would work, and they would concede nothing.
But
nothing
to me, it's and I'll take it, but I don't even think their weakness is in the midfield. Their weakness is at left back for me. So we talk about the players they have. So they have Juan Bernat, they've got Bakker, but they clearly didn't trust those players because they tried to get Theo Hernandez from AC Milan. They tried to get him. And the thing is, they've got someone as good as Hakimi on the right. But Bernat's nowhere near as good as Hakimi and can't perform the role that you would if you made him into a wing back. He's not as good. It would be much easier to shut down Hakimi, overload his side, and let Bernat go because he's not as dangerous as a player going forward. I would say that is the weak spot for PSG. And what that means is that whoever's on the left wing for PSG will have to track back more. So that is going to be and see if Neymar doesn't do it, it's a weakness. The left side looks weak to me. You'd be depending on Genie to do more defending on the left rather than linking up play up front. You weaken them entirely if you target that left-hand side. I mean, what do you guys think? Can you see someone taking advantage of that kind of weakness?
Yeah, but only let's be real. I don't think. I mean, I know they didn't win the league this season, but for me, the idea of PSG not winning the French title this season is just incomprehensible. I just can't. I think that's they will, they have to. And they've won the league several times over the last decade where their team hasn't even been great. And in Europe, they haven't performed well, but they still walked the league. So they should easily do that this season. I think it could be an issue when they get to the latter stages of the Champions League, when they come up against the Man Cities, the Bayerns, the Chelseas. But I actually rate Bernat. I've watched him whenever PSG play. I think he does all right. And in attack, I think he you can't leave him. You can't just think, Hakimi will just focus on defending his crosses and his attacking runs, because then you'll just get punished by Bernat. Because I don't think he's he's not the level of Hakimi, but he's still a solid player.
Definitely.
But if they did go to a three at the back, he's not quite the player they need for a wing back compared to who else they could get.
He doesn't need to be good on that offense, right? He doesn't need to be good going forward because they've got Neymar to do that. And if he's the wing back, so he's being deployed higher up, right? That means he's closer to where Neymar's playing, relatively close to where Neymar's playing. So
it leaves a lot of space behind him. But then again, I would say that Sergio would be better at managing the back line to cover that space better. So, at the end of the day, that's the only flaw I see. I point this out because I see nothing else wrong with this team.
That's fair.
It's perfect everywhere.
Theo Hernandez would have just propelled them to another level.
I think what actually makes it disappointing for me is that PSG are in the French league, because I just find it if to see that team assembled in the Premier League or Serie A or even La Liga, I just a more competitive league than
it would be so fascinating to watch them in a real title challenge every season.
I think we were going to talk about will they actually play Messi in the league, and I think they will, but I think I can see them they have 6 or 7 midfielders who can start in their strongest 11. So they're going to be rotating a lot, and they've still got up front as well. If you remember, they've got Icardi.
They've got Icardi on the bench. He was touted as one of the most talented strikers in the world.
Rafinha as well. They're just stacked, and so I can.
But where's Choupo-Moting? Where's Choupo-Moting? If you want to win the Champions League, Eric Choupo-Moting needs to be on your team.
Isn't he back at Bayern?
He's the crux of the
He's back at Bayern. He's at Bayern now. Yeah.
The most talented, untalented player I've ever seen. Honestly.
What a fraud! Wow. What an absolute.
Yeah, I mean, I think the French league doesn't get enough credit, honestly, because again, I mentioned it just before. They didn't even win the league last year, and I don't know how much of the French league you guys watch. I try to watch as much as I can. Maybe 1 or 2 games a week at most, but it's tighter than you think. it's more competitive. I would probably say it's more competitive than La Liga at the moment, to be honest.
La Liga's a bit stale.
La Liga is competitive, but the quality, like the best three teams in Spain would probably
out of the whole 20 team, there's more competition for places than in La Liga. In La Liga, a lot of yo-yo clubs, and it's just three teams at the top. You don't see a lot of changes elsewhere.
Yeah, well, Atletico won the league last season. Were Real Madrid second or third? Because it was close. I can't remember if they were second or third, but I mean, like
the top three were Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico. Yeah. It was the typical top three.
Yeah.
But I can't remember which order were the other two.
But they weren't at the level of like Chelsea literally, and Chelsea came fourth last season. Keep in mind, and they completely. They just cruised past Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, to be honest.
I would love to talk about, in another episode, really talk about how far La Liga is declined. Because it's interesting we bring this up, because I reckon this transfer window could be interpreted as PSG trying to become the new Real Madrid. Look at these Galactico-style signings we've done.
Well,
Mbappe, you don't have to go to Real Madrid to be a champ. You can stay here.
I'd say that PSG surpassed Real Madrid 2 years ago.
Well, that's actually why Real Madrid were chasing Mbappe so hard later on in the window, because they had the exact same thoughts. They want to be the team signing the Galactico players, the Galacticos, and they that's why they went in for Mbappe, despite the fact they're in not as much debt as Barcelona, but still a significant amount.
Yeah,
they probably couldn't even afford it.
Yeah. It's even they couldn't afford it. It was so desperate. The situation is dire for La Liga with Ronaldo and Messi gone.
Yeah,
I can see that league dying. I can see teams like Leeds and Aston Villa buying teams from the best Spanish clubs for like pittance.
They have.
They have. Like Leeds got Rodrigo. Leeds got Rodrigo. From like a top Spanish side for like 30 million. And Aston Villa can command more finances these days than Bayern Munich. Like, it's crazy. The imbalance between Europe and England is crazy. But for me, we all know that Mbappe has this dream. He had the Ronaldo posters at Real Madrid in his room. He had a plan. He's always had a plan. Do well in France until Real Madrid signs me and I become the next Ronaldo. He's got a set plan, but reality doesn't care. Real Madrid are declining, and PSG are trying to convince Mbappe that this is where the spotlight will be. Real Madrid's going, stay here. Yeah, exactly. They need it, and that's why they're still in it. Yeah, that's why they're still in it.
I'm happy he stayed because I want to see the front three. If he left, I would have just
It ties in well with what the next point I want to bring up. Mbappe hasn't signed a new deal. He's out of contract at the end of this year. Yeah. Surely this was at least in some part. I mean, they want to win the Champions League, but surely all these massive signings, these Galactico signings, surely it's a kind of ploy to get Mbappe to stay, right? The thought of being able to play alongside Neymar and Messi and make that new MSN kind of situation. The thought of that has got to just be unbelievable, right?
But think about it. It's like when you think about it, the smart thing, if you thought Mbappe was definitely going to leave next window for free, you would have been smart and taken Real Madrid's offer.
Correct.
Clearly, the fact they've denied an offer of 160, 180 million means they think they can convince him to stay.
True.
He'd be dumb to leave. If he went to Real Madrid, he would be the star player, not Messi, not Neymar. He would be the star player. He's their best player. He would be the best player they've had for years, right? I think he'd be stupid to leave this PSG team, knowing the disarray that Real Madrid's in, knowing the controversy with the Super League. I think, and having them still in it, I think it'd be really dumb to leave. If you don't think PSG has arguably the best shot to win the Champions League, which is probably what he wants, then you're severely mistaken.
I don't know if that is what he wants though. It's like he has an image of his head of being the star man at Real Madrid.
Yeah, he wants that. He wants that.
He wants that. And I don't know if that necessarily means, I want to win the Champions League. He's got that image in his head that that's where his future is. It's like It's strange. I don't think he'll move.
PSG is the new Real Madrid kind of.
Yeah, but has he registered that? Has he accepted that fact, or does he value being in the Bernabeu in front of 100,000 whites? Is that experience what he wants of his career?
It's different. PSG are a big club, but they're not Real Madrid big, right?
No.
Everybody on earth knows who Real Madrid and Cristiano Ronaldo is, and everybody knows that this club, right? It's like Barcelona. Everybody knows who Barcelona is. If you don't watch football, you know who Barcelona and Messi is. PSG don't have that kind of grab yet. Maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, but I don't think.
They probably will do now because of the signing of Messi.
Yeah.
Well, true.
Yeah, absolutely. The pull is there to start getting more public attention for PSG.
There's that coveted, this is Real Madrid kind of, we are the biggest club in the world kind of mentality. I don't think PSG have that. I don't think people associate PSG with that. They associate PSG more with oil money.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
But Mbappe's definitely staying. I can't see Mbappe leaving and going anywhere.
I gotta say though, I think it's a conversation for another episode, but I feel like I'm sure we won't get to this, but with the Premier League, just the financial dominance it now has and is looking like it's going to have at the same time that La Liga is a sinking ship pretty much. I know I'm looking at this season of the Champions League. I'm looking at this season's Champions League, and I think there's 6 potential winners, and I think it's City, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, and I think Bayern and PSG are the only non-English teams that could conceivably win it. I can't see Atletico, Real Madrid, or Barcelona winning it. I just don't think they have the quality. And I think on their day, those 4 English teams could probably beat PSG and Bayern Munich, even with their squads now. If they perform to their full ability. And I just hope the Champions League doesn't become and I'm sure it won't be, but I don't want it to become kind of in the latter stages, almost an FA Cup where it's just English teams. We've had 2 all-English finals in the last 3 years. And I literally can see the English clubs starting to dominate. I mean, I would be arguing from a Premier League perspective to have an additional spot for the Champions League. I would say it should be top 5. Because when you've got Leicester City coming 5th, 6th, 7th, and they're easily, I mean, I genuinely think if Leicester City were to play, Atletico Madrid, I don't think Atletico Madrid win it comfortably. I think it's
not comfortably.
Yeah.
I think they'd probably scrap a goal, but not comfortably.
Well, but if they've versed each other before. Leicester City and Atletico versed each other the last time, and it was a very close game.
Yeah. But that was before. That was when Leicester were almost getting relegated.
And now they're better than that. Leicester are better than that. They'd probably beat Atletico if they fought them with their current squad.
It is like Chelsea signing Saul from Atletico. I mean there's no way you let arguably your best midfielder go out on loan with an option to buy. I don't know what the fee is, but I think what that was Barcelona that offloading Griezmann to Atletico, and then Atletico in order to pay their. And I don't think Atletico are in any financial difficulties.
Not to the extent of Barcelona.
No, but they don't. Just being in La Liga, they don't have the revenue stream of the Premier League club. So I think they actually had to offload Saul to Chelsea. I genuinely think why else would you be loaning out one of your best players?
Yeah,
one of the best players in world football.
And it's worth saying as well that it's interesting that you bring up the context of La Liga's finances, because I reckon Real Madrid put in such a high bid for Mbappe, despite knowing he'd leave on a free next summer, because they needed to grab him this summer or in January. Because here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Sure, they could try and get him for free next summer, but what actually happens is Real Madrid offers Mbappe a wage, and any Premier League club in that top 4 can offer him double. And Real Madrid cannot win that wage bidding war.
No, that's true.
I think that's what happens.
I don't see how Real Madrid pulled out where they pulled that money from.
Desperate. It was so desperate.
They would be in so much debt after that. It's not funny.
Mm.
No,
They're already
well,
300, 400 million
They're
in debt.
already in debt.
You know what's actually sad as well is the Barcelona situation is a culmination of mismanagement, like genuine mismanagement over the last 10, 15 years. And you look at their success, like the Guardiola team, the team that played under Luis Enrique as well. Like, you could literally say this is like almost these were almost fraudulent teams because they were assembled with money they did not have. They could not afford this.
So it was so you've got the poor management. The president did them dirty and whatnot, right? But you've also got poor signings that really contributed to that. They splashed out so much money for Dembele. They splashed out so much money for Griezmann and Coutinho, and all of them, for want of a better word, flopped.
Yeah.
So there's 500 mil or 350 mil or whatever, and all of a sudden you've got that plus the mismanagement of the team's finances on a back end situation, plus having to pay Messi 1.2 million a year, something like that. Plus having to pay Messi 1.2 mil. Plus you've got Busquets on super high wages. Suarez on super high wages. You've had Jordi Alba, PK on massive wages. So it's a long time coming, but it's horribly run. Yeah.
Their contract renewal policy is just like Jordi Alba, these guys on like Umtiti as well, just like on insane wages. You just got to think like, what were they thinking?
Bartholomew was a joke, and I don't think Laporta is any better. Yeah, he absolutely killed the club, and it's good that the players seem to be willing to take a hit to try and rebuild and get things back to normal. So you're talking about those massive wages, but PK's actually put off his wages.
PK has deferred his wages until next year.
Yeah, although I did hear someone say that he'd be more willing to because his wife is earning a heap of money as well.
So. Not even that. He's actually rolling. He's actually rolling in dough without his wages, because what I found out is that Messi got his debut for PSG and 2 million Spaniards tuned in to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what actually happened is PK, before anyone else did, PK bought the broadcasting rights for Ligue 1 in Spain. So he actually owns the broadcasting rights for all the Ligue 1 games, and he made a mozza because of all the Spaniards who are tuning into the games with Messi in it.
What a baller. What a baller. Imagine doing that and being able to bang Shakira.
It's the dream. It's the dream.
He's living an absolute dream.
God damn. Solid.
To bring it back to, that's a good point. Do we think Messi's going to be deployed for... I know we touched on it slightly before. Do we think Messi's going to be deployed for most of Ligue 1's games, or do we think because he's going to be saved for the Champions League? Because personally, I think he's going to be a normal player. He played every minute for Barcelona. He's one of the most capped players. He is a weekly player. That changes at PSG at all.
He'll play more games than he won't in the league. Like, he's at 38 games. He's easily playing 30 of them, I think. The other thing is, like, he's gonna want to play. He's gonna be demanding to play because he will want to prove, like, otherwise his numbers are just not going to be where they should be or where they were.
Correct.
I actually don't think he will. I actually don't think. I don't think. Yeah,
I think it's the same situation with Ronaldo. He forces that playing time. He dictates. Messi is now the dictator of that team.
Messi's smarter. I think I've seen Messi is a much less selfish player. I think Messi, they're only going to play him in Ligue 1 enough to keep him fit and not play him for the other games. They want him fit for European games, but they don't want him to get injured. They want to minimize the risk of an injury because he's had more injuries recently. Yeah, but more often now. The last 2 seasons for Barca, he was more injured than he has been in his career. It's definitely a bigger risk for him now.
Correct.
But we're wrapping up, boys. We're running out of time, so I'll quickly do one quick fire prediction. I'm going to ask both of you, do you think PSG is going to win the Champions League this year? Anthony?
Yes.
Ollie?
Yeah, I think I was actually just having a quick look at their group. They've got, I was just they got Man City and Leipzig in their group, and you can see, and I actually hope it doesn't happen, but you can see Leipzig and City going through and just being a complete, and that team playing in the Europa League. Could you imagine?
No, but you find that least likely. You think they're going to win?
I think that they will actually.
Okay.
And I tell you what, I think Sergio Ramos definitely plays a pivotal part in that. I think if they didn't have Ramos, but I think having him, he won it like 4 times. I think he definitely. I reckon they win it. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll finish up and say I actually don't think they're going to win it, but I think they're in a final. I think they're absolutely getting to the final, but I think they're going to slow down at the last hurdle and fail to cross the line. Who against? I can see it being Man City. I can see a Man City PSG final on the way. Man City come back at it a second time and win it.
What about Man United?
Good luck getting out of the group stages.
They will. Their group is easy. Their group is easy. They'll
be fine. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it. Thank you everyone for watching wherever you are. Spotify. Well, this is OT content, so you'll only find this on YouTube. So thank you all for having a watch along, and keep an eye out for all the OTs to come in the regular podcast episodes. Thank you for joining us. I've been me. We've had Anthony and Ollie with me, and I'll see everyone later.
Thanks.